was supposed to be just another urban exploration. Alex loved filming creepy places for his small YouTube channel. Old factories, abandoned houses, empty schools. Nothing ever really happened, but the thrill of sneaking into forgotten buildings kept him going. One autumn evening, he and two of his friends found themselves in front of the abandoned asylum just outside town. The place had been closed down in the 1970s after a fire, and rumors swirled that the patients who died inside never left. "Go in, film a hallway, and we'll wait out here," one of his friends dared him. "If you stay for 5 minutes, you've got balls of steel." Alex smirked, adjusted his backpack, and pushed the heavy, rusted door open. Inside, the air was cold and smelled of mold and old metal. Dust swirled in the faint beam of his flashlight. The corridor stretched long and narrow, lined with doors that were half rotted, their paint peeling in strips. At first, it was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that presses on your ears until you start hearing your own heartbeat. Then, as he moved deeper into the hallway, the overhead lights flickered. Once. Just once. But enough to make him stop. That's when he saw them. Bloody handprints smeared across the walls, fresh enough to glisten under the weak light. And at the far end of the corridor, a figure. Tall, thin, unnaturally still. Its eyes burned red in the dark, staring directly at him. Alex's breath caught in his throat. He lifted his flashlight, but the beam seemed swallowed by the darkness around it. On the wall, beside the last door, scrawled in large, frantic letters, were the words, "Don't open the door." Alex's flashlight flickered as if struggling to stay alive, and in that unstable glow, the figure at the end of the corridor seemed to shift. Not a step, not a movement, but its shape wavered, like heat rising from asphalt. "Hello?" Alex whispered, his voice barely louder than the crackle of the old lights. The figure didn't answer. Its glowing eyes didn't blink. They simply burned. Behind him, the asylum door groaned shut on its own. The bang echoed down the hallway, making Alex spin around, his light cutting frantic shapes across the stained walls. When he turned back, the figure was gone. The corridor stretched empty and silent again, though the handprints on the walls looked darker now, thicker, as if fresh blood had been smeared there only seconds ago. One of them dripped, a single red streak crawling slowly down the wall. A low sound drifted through the hallway. At first, Alex thought it was the wind seeping through broken windows, but no, it was a whisper. He froze, straining to hear. It came from the door with the warning. Faint, drawn out, as though someone on the other side was calling his name. "Alex." The letters painted above the door seemed to pulse in the darkness. "Don't open the door." Alex's throat went dry. He stepped closer to the door, flashlight trembling in his grip. This is just my imagination," he whispered to himself, trying to sound brave. "Old buildings creak, the mind plays tricks, that's all." But as he inched forward, the whispers grew clearer. Not wind, not his imagination. Voices, multiple voices. Layered, desperate, pleading. "Help us. Let us out. Alex, open it." His name again, said in tones too familiar. Alex stumbled back, shaking his head. His friends? They were outside. Maybe they were messing with him. Maybe they found another way in, trying to scare him for the video. He lifted his phone and checked the screen. No signal. Only static flickers as the camera strained in the darkness. The live view warped, distorting the corridor like melting film. Then he heard it. A soft, metallic click. The door handle turned on its own. Just slightly. Enough to make the lock rattle. Alex's heart slammed against his ribs. It's not real, he muttered, backing away. But his eyes couldn't leave the message scrawled on the wall. "Don't open the door." And yet, something inside him whispered back, "What if you're supposed to? What if that's the only way out?" The corridor went silent again. No whispers, no sound at all. The kind of silence that hurts, pressing against the eardrums until Alex could hear nothing but the frantic rhythm of his own heartbeat. He dared a step closer. The door shivered, metal vibrating under an invisible force. Then, bang! The entire door buckled inward as though something enormous had slammed against it from the other side. Dust and rust fell from the hinges. Alex screamed and stumbled backward, dropping his flashlight. The beam rolled across the cracked floor, casting spinning shadows on the walls. The whispers returned, but louder now, almost screams. Dozens of voices overlapping. Open it! Let us out! Join us! And then the door began to open, not with a creak, not slowly, but violently, as if ripped by unseen hands. The metal bent outward, the lock snapping free. Cold air blasted into the hallway, carrying with it the smell of rot and iron. From the darkness inside, two glowing red eyes appeared, then another pair, and another, until the entire doorway pulsed with them. Dozens, maybe hundreds, of burning eyes staring straight into Alex's soul. He tried to run. His legs wouldn't move. His body felt frozen, as if the air itself had chained him to the ground. The voices roared in unison, shaking the walls, deafening, endless. Don't open the door! But it was already too late. The hallway shook as the asylum itself seemed to awaken. Paint peeled from the walls, the floor cracked beneath Alex's shoes, and the overhead lights burst one by one, showering sparks into the thick fog that now filled the air. The door yawned wide open. Beyond it, not another room, not a cell, but an endless black void pulsing with eyes that blinked in patterns, almost like breathing. Alex's phone vibrated violently in his hand, screen flashing with static images, faces twisted in agony, mouths open in silent screams. For a split second, he thought he saw his own reflection among them, eyes hollow, mouth dripping blood. Alex, the voices chorused again. Only this time, they weren't pleading. They were commanding. A shape stepped out of the doorway, tall, twisted, bones bent at impossible angles, its skin stretched tight like wax, cracking as it moved. The glowing red eyes burned inches from his face. Alex wanted to run, to scream, to do anything. But his body obeyed them, not him. His hand reached forward on its own, fingers shaking. Slowly, unwillingly, he gripped the edge of the door and began to pull it open wider. The asylum walls howled like living things. The handprints smeared on the corridor, bubbling fresh and wet. And behind him, somewhere far away, he thought he heard his friends outside, laughing, calling his name, as if none of this was real, as if he had never left the doorway. Alex's hand dragged the door wide open. The void inside screamed, not with sound, but with silence so heavy it felt like drowning. The eyes blinked once, and then everything went dark. When the flashlight flickered back to life, the corridor was empty. The bloodstains, the whispers, the figure gone. The asylum stood silent again, as if nothing had happened. His friends outside grew impatient. Alex, hurry up! One of them shouted. Alex appeared in the doorway, slowly, his face pale, his eyes downcast. He stepped into the moonlight, dust trailing from his clothes. Dude, you okay? His friend asked. Alex raised his head. His eyes glowed red, and in a voice that wasn't his, layered and hollow, he whispered, Don't open the door.